Evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa. This Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. It's 6:30 p.m. and we are in the council chambers at City Hall. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Knutson, Vogelzang,
Here.
Quinn, Peterson,
Here.
Mayor Pro-tem Goodrich.
Here. So council members are here, and High Win is on her way. We'll be here soon. I'm, as was mentioned, Pro-tem Lori Goodrich, and I'm acting as your mayor tonight. And along with, we have acting city administrator Scott Larson, city attorney Kevin Olson, city clerk Thor Johnson, as well as other staff in the audience. And those not in attendance tonight are Mayor Foster and Councilmember Knutson. May we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. The agenda is approved.
Yeah, you have to have.
Oh,
Voice
we have
vote.
to have a voice
Yeah.
vote.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All approved. Agenda is approved. Okay, this portion of the meeting is the community comments. And it's going to be a little different tonight because we have so many public hearings. But this portion of the meeting is the community comments and is an opportunity for members of the public to speak directly to the council about items not on tonight's agenda or items that do not include a public hearing. Because of open meeting laws, the council cannot engage in discussion or debate at this time, but we do appreciate hearing your thoughts and concerns. If you wish to comment on an item that does not have a scheduled public hearing, please wait until that item is called later in the meeting. Please limit your comments to no more than 5 minutes so that everyone has a chance to speak. But we're going to keep this time to 15 minutes total for community comments at this point in the meeting, and then after the meeting, right after the consent calendar, we will designate more time for community comments. So is there anyone who would like to speak to us tonight? And you'll please write your name and...
Already done.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike Roberts. I live in Iowa City, frequent Coralville. We've been here week after week, meeting after meeting, to encourage the council not to fund mass surveillance in our town. We brought facts and logic. We brought lived experiences of people who were harmed by these systems. And we brought examples from harms done to other communities across the nation. The council has still plowed ahead with this proposal, and all I want to say is you've got the chance to do the right thing, remove it from the consent agenda, let it be considered separately, and actually have a proper vote on this one item. Show some courage and do the right thing. It's really easy to vote nay. That's the right thing to do, and I'm confident that if Katie Freeman and Ryan Swinka were occupying the chairs at the front of the room today, that they would do the right thing. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dan Wohlers. I'm a 24-year resident of Coralville. I know that we're not talking about flock specifically tonight, but hopefully you're having discussions about an updated policy, or more preferred, an ordinance regarding license plate reader and other surveillance cameras. I'm here tonight to urge you to adopt strong restrictions on the flock LPR system. Specifically, I support a minimal data retention period for non-hot list vehicles, such as the 3-minute limit successfully implemented in New Hampshire. During the initial debate over bringing flock to our city, a common argument from supporters was that we shouldn't have to worry about this new surveillance because, quote, cameras are everywhere, or our cell phones already track where we go. I'd like to take that argument at face value. It is true that we are living under a blanket of pervasive private surveillance. That is not an argument, though, for adding yet another system. It is the single strongest argument against it. If law enforcement already has, as was argued, countless data streams to follow for investigations, then it completely undermines the need for our city to build its own massive, searchable, long-term database of every resident's routine movements. As stated, the purpose of this system is to catch active, immediate threats on a hot list: stolen cars, Amber Alerts, and wanted felons. A 3-minute retention period is more than enough time to check a license plate against the list and alert an officer. Retaining the data of innocent, non-hot list residents for days, weeks, or months serves no immediate public safety purpose. It only creates a powerful tool for tracking our associations, our appointments, and our private lives. You were right, cameras are everywhere. That is precisely why we must be vigilant about the systems that we choose to build. We don't need to track everyone to catch someone. Please adopt the 3-minute retention limit. I'd also like to ask council what, if any, plans we have to supplement the food needs of our community with the upcoming loss of SNAP benefits. I don't know if there's partnerships that we could do with local businesses to encourage more food delivered to the food pantry, but I'd like to see us come up with some sort of plan to address that need. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tara McGovern, 25-year resident of Coralville. I wanted to thank everyone for participating in the candidate forum last night. We got to hear from some very smart people, and I really appreciated everyone's comments, and it really gave us a lot of insight as to where everyone was coming from. It was also very encouraging to have Councillor Knutson comments be available from San Diego. It's something that I really think Coralville should have done a long time ago, which is to make these meetings asynchronous. A lot of other places, we clearly have the technology to do so and just choosing not to. Just as an example, Iowa City Councilor Oliver Weiline has never missed a council meeting, even when he was on tour in Japan and Korea. He was still able to attend the meetings, and you only have like less than 20 a year. So it seems to me that it would be the responsible thing to do for your constituents to utilize the technology that you have available to you. On the same note, I'd like to point out that work sessions are public, and as of yet, there's no way for people to watch those on video. You choose not to make those available. That's another infrastructure problem that you are choosing to not be accountable to the community. I would like for you to change that. And I would ask you, as Mike did, to move the flock thing that you're going to sign off on today from the consent agenda. I know that you won't. You've all showed that you don't care to listen to us on that, and I find that very disappointing. $36,000 feels like a lot of money that could be used by people in our community, especially now. So I find that really heartbreaking that we're in a situation where the community really came together to try to ask you to do the right thing, and you're choosing to just toe the line. It sucks. That's all.
Hi, my name's Luke Ferguson. Pronouns are he, him. I've lived here pretty much my whole life, and I just kind of wanted to take some time and talk about third spaces. I know we all want to make our community safer and more accessible, and I think access to third spaces is really important. I think we're building, a wonderful new rec center. We're going to have a rec center down for a little bit, and it's been a personal dream of mine and a lot of my friends for a long time to open up an art space that's available to the community. And when I was a kid growing up here, we had indoor skate parks. We had friends who had music equipment, rock and roll equipment, and art supplies were everywhere. All our communities were kind of divided throughout the areas and neighborhoods, and it was really who you knew if you were able to access these spaces. And I think we have a lot of unused space in the city of Coralville we do have some budgetary concerns, so I think we would be able to use the art community, take these unused spaces, breathe some life into it using the tremendous artists that we already have. And I think we could build something that would cost the city nothing other than their unused space. And then community will be able to build this space. We'd be able to fund this space. We believe we would be able to be self-sustaining just with memberships, with bands and people renting out the rock and roll space, doing adult programs that would help fund the kids' programs. We take a lot of inspiration from UAY and Eastern Iowa Arts Academy up in Cedar Rapids. What they're doing wonderful things. They're providing just a safe place for children after school, and then also a really fun space for adults. And like I said, adult programs can help fund the kids' programs. If we get access to grant monies and things as a nonprofit, that can really help too. But we see a lot of unused space in Coralville, and we just think that this could be something really wonderful for everyone. And then jumping to the SNAP benefits that are going to be lost, I have been talking with people all over the community, and somebody brought it to my attention that Iowa City Mutual Aid is going to do everything they can to help provide food and food assistance. And I love what we're doing at the food pantry here in Coralville. I think we have one of the best food pantries. I know a lot of you are personally involved in that, but I would urge anyone listening or anyone with the resources available to just check out Iowa City Mutual Aid and see what you're able to offer. Table to Table is also always looking for volunteers to help deliver food places. I've worked a lot of places where donations go unpicked up. When I worked at Panera Bread, for example, and other places, I don't want to start naming too many names, but a lot of times, you know, we'd have the donations ready to go, and if the volunteers were unable to show up, they would not get to the people who need it. And food insecurity is a big problem, and that is definitely one way we can make our community better. So I'll send out emails. I'd be happy to work with anyone. We're still kind of trying to bring the dream of the art space into reality, but we just think that Coralville would be one of the best places to do that. And yeah, thank you for your time. I think that's it too. I don't think there are any more names.
All right, thank you. And we will take to heart everything that has been said. As I mentioned, we can't respond right now, but we will at a later time. The next thing on our agenda is annexation. It's a public hearing, and this is for the annexation parcel of 225047, which is a 6.22 acres and adjacent to the Forevergreen Heights subdivision. I will now open the public hearing for the annexation. Is anyone interested in discussing this? Any questions? No written comments. I will now close the public hearing, and when do I hear from you?
Right now.
Good. All right. I don't have that down, so would you please, it's Dave Johnson, please.
Mayor Pro-tem and City Council members. On the screen is an exhibit showing the proposed boundary. This boundary has been discussed and agreed upon by both the City of Coralville as well as the City of North Liberty. North Liberty is in the process of annexing the property immediately north of here. There's a 10-foot strip that's going to be preserved between the two properties to maintain that mandatory connection to county jurisdiction. That I'm going to pull up a map quick that just shows you where the current boundary is proposed for this particular annexation. And the agreement is that that boundary will continue west to North Liberty Road. Everything south will eventually become Coralville. Everything north will eventually become North Liberty as these properties transition from county jurisdiction to municipal jurisdictions. This annexation is 100% voluntary, and the city staff support this, and the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their September 3rd meeting, and by a vote of 5-0, the commission recommended to approve annexing Auditor's Parcel 2025047. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have some question. That's okay. Is it always automatically zone R1 single-family residential when it's annexed?
It is. Thank you for bringing that up. It is. By code, anything that comes in is automatically zoned R1 single-family resident. It doesn't preclude a developer or property owner from requesting something different at that time. At this time, the applicant has not requested anything different.
Okay. Is there a way, as we all know that the housing crisis, affordable housing really is a crisis right now. Is there a way that when the developer think about developing that parcel, is there a way that as a city we can work with the developer to ask them to maybe prioritize affordable housing instead of just build single home. Somehow, I guess, maximize the amount of unit that we'll be able to put into that parcel.
Those are certainly conversations we can have. Ultimately, the question in terms of whether to rezone a property or not to rezone a property falls on the community plan. And does the community plan call for an area to be low density residential, medium density residential, or high density residential? So we do want to promote density to the greatest extent possible. We want to promote quality development to the greatest extent possible. But when you start getting into higher densities, you also start getting into other considerations, especially in terms of road networks within the development, road networks immediately surrounding that development. Do they have the capacity to support that density of development, and things of that nature? So we do have a community plan in Coralville. Most of my staff reports for any sort of rezoning almost always reference what that community plan is. That community plan has a map with those land use designations, all of which were developed in coordination with the community when that plan was developed, and reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission and adopted by City Council. So really, it is our land use plan and our community plan that we look to most closely in evaluating many of those land use decisions, as at the time when those plans were put together, studies were done, things were looked at closely, and can those, for example, can that road network or can that infrastructure support that density of development? In some cases, the answer is yes. And in a lot of our infill development, we do whatever we can to promote the densest development possible. But also, truth be told, a lot of that is also dependent on the market. And if a developer can fall within that density range of low density, they can develop anywhere between 1 dwelling unit per acre up to 6 dwelling units per acre, for example. So it offers a range, and quite a bit of this is also market driven.
But as a city, do we have any leverage? That's what I'm asking. And then also, on the top of your head, will you be, on the top of your head, can you share whether this is a high density, medium density, based on the community plan?
The concept that the developer is proposing here is going to be a low density. I believe the concepts I've seen to date are actually for 0 lot duplexes to be located here. I'm sure that following this, once they have all of their entitlement work done between North Liberty and the city of Coralville, they'll be following up with a rezoning application and a site plan application. I'll have a lot more detail on that. Concepts to date, though, have been for 0 lots.
And then can you educate me on the low density, whether it's a single, what's the difference between a single unit, a single family unit, and then like a duplex or a quadruplex? Can it all exist in a low density area?
It can all exist in a low density, correct. To answer your earlier question about where our leverage is with the community plan and the community plan future land use map. And again, that's why I almost always reference those in my staff reports when reviewing this. And I also go over that with developers and applicants when they come to us with a project. It's not unusual for a developer to maybe change or want to change the land use to make something more dense, or in some cases maybe less dense. But again, there is your point in this process where you as a city council can support or not support a request like that. But really our big reference piece and our leverage piece is our community plan. It's a very important document. So going back to your other question about types of housing within a land use designation, it could be a range of things. It could be 4plexes, 5plexes, duplexes, single family detached, and it's not unusual for us to see subdivisions where we have a whole combination of those things. One of the goals in our community plan is that we foster a range of housing opportunities. We want people to have a choice between a single family detached home, or maybe somebody wants to live in an apartment or a condo. So having a range of things is actually something specifically cited in our community plan. But as long as in total for that area, whether it's a a large master planned area or a very specific small phase of a subdivision, if it falls within that density range of, for example, let's say low density residential, anywhere between 0 and 6 dwelling units per acre, it's fine. And within that density range, it is very easy to incorporate different housing types within that.
So why can't we just amend our language to have it automatically zoned as a low-density residential area instead of a single family?
Well, zoning is a little bit different than the land use plan. Zoning is a regulatory mechanism, whereas our land use is a policy document. That policy document, again, it's put together in cooperation with the community, with our residents, with our businesses, stakeholders, neighborhood groups. All of these people participate in crafting this document. That becomes a policy document that in turn helps inform regulatory decisions like zoning, or it can also help inform budgeting or other mechanisms. A community plan really is a great tool for communities to look at as a guide towards development, a guide towards policy, things of that nature. So it's a little bit different.
Thank you so much. And,
Yeah.
and that, that's very important because obviously I did not know that. And so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
We all learned.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we're here to learn. I have one more question, but I can't remember. So thank you,
sure.
Dave.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? We need to read the resolution, please.
Resolution accepting the voluntary annexation of real property into the city of Coralville. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Vogelsang, seconded by.
Second. Second, sorry.
Yep.
Thank you. Seconded by Peterson. Are there any other questions or thoughts about this resolution?
Actually, I remember.
Okay.
Mayor Pro
Now's
Tem,
the
may I
time.
ask?
Yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yep.
For our community plan, how old is it? When do we need to update our community plan? When does the community member have a chance to come and,
So plans are typically updated, once anywhere between 10 and 20 years, sometimes more frequently. A lot really depends on how much things have changed, and if conditions have changed extensively, or if something would really necessitate that, it can be done earlier. It's really at the behest of, city council and city leadership. Right now, our community plan is about 10
it's
years
due,
old.
right? It's due to have another one?
Well,
you say?
not too far off, right? But it would really be, something that maybe city council wants to look at during goal setting or something of that nature. Is this something that you think needs undertaking at this time, or are the policies and direction outlined in that document, reflective of what city council at large wants to do?
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? Roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Next, number 6, WWTP Biosolids Pump Replacement. This project will install a new pump in the biosolids thickening building at the wastewater treatment plant and replace major components of the gravity belt thickener. I will now open the public hearing on these plans and specifications. Is anyone interested in discussing this with us? Any questions, any written comments?
No written.
Okay, I will close the public hearing, and please read the resolution.
Resolution approving the plan specifications, estimate of cost and form of contract, ordering bids, setting a date for the receiving of said bids, and directing posting of the bid letting, all for the wastewater treatment plant biosolids pump replacement project. This resolution introduced for adoption by Mayor Pro Tem Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Wynn. Any questions or thoughts on this resolution?
How often do we have to replace the pump?
Actually, I'll have to ask. David Clark is not
David,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer for that. I do know that our major wastewater plant improvement was completed in, I think, 2017, 2018. But I don't know if this particular pump was from the previous upgrade. So I don't know if it was in your notes, but I did on note on my memo that the existing pump is actually going to be left on site and used as a backup as needed. So we're not going to be without in case the new pump eventually has issues.
Yeah, it is on our note. It's just
Okay, good.
quite an amount, so.
Yeah.
We have to replace this every 5 years. We'll be in trouble.
No.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Quinn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang, Goodrich.
Aye. Resolution is approved, all ayes. Number 7, sanitary sewer rehabilitation. This project includes lining just under 5,000 feet of sanitary sewer reinstatement and grouting of 124 services, root sign 2,400 feet of sanitary sewer, 6 excavations for point repairs, removal and replacement of 120 feet of sanitary sewer, and miscellaneous service restoration. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak with us about this? Any written comments?
No written.
Thank you. I'll now close the public hearing and consider the resolution, please, Kevin.
Resolution approving the plan specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract, ordering bids, setting a date for the receiving of said bids, and directing posting of the bid letting, all for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Peterson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Nguyen. Any questions or thoughts from the council?
This is the result of our sound test through the sewer system, correct?
The sounding and the video inspection as well, the jetting, the cleaning that we've, David has on I believe it's a 10-year cycle to clean and inspect all sewers every 10 years. So this is a very comprehensive list of repairs and something that will be great to get done.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Vogelsang, Goodrich,
Asking question?
Yeah, yeah.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Okay, I think I missed you, Goodrich.
And I say aye.
Okay.
So this resolution is approved, all ayes. Thank you. Number 8, water plant filter media replacement and repair, 2025. This project includes removal of the disposal of old filter media for filters 3 and 4, power washing of the filter walls, installing new filter media, disinfecting the filters and media, removal of link seals around pipe penetrations in the face of all 4 filters and associated work. I will now open the public hearing on the plan specifications and estimate of cost for this. Does anybody have anything to talk to us about? Any written?
No written.
No written. We'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution, please.
Resolution approving the plan specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract, ordering bids, setting a date for the receiving of said bids, and directing posting of the bid letting, all for the water plant filter media replacement and repair 2025. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Vogelsang, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Peterson. Any questions or thoughts on this issue? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro-tem Goodrich,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Number 9, well 16, fiber optics installation. This project includes installing 2,500 feet of 2-inch conduit along 12th Avenue from well 9 to the existing handhole on the north side of the Crandick Railroad, installing 3 handholds and providing and pulling 4,740 feet of fiber optic cable from well 9 to well 16. I will now open the public hearing for plans and specifications and estimate of cost. Is there anyone who wants to discuss this with us? Are there any written comments?
No written.
No written. I will close the public hearing. Consider the resolution, please.
Resolution approving the plan specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract, ordering bids, setting a date for the receiving of said bids, and directing posting of the bid letting, all for the water plant filter media replacement and repair 2025. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Vogelzang. Any questions or thoughts? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelzang,
Aye.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Nguyen.
Aye.
Okay, resolution is approved, all ayes. Number 10, lease agreement. This is a 6-year lease to operate a restaurant at the former Arby's site on First Avenue. I will now open the public hearing on the proposed lease agreement for 801 First Avenue. Is anybody interested in talking about this? Okay, any questions, anyone? We'll take written comments.
I do. If anybody wants to look
Have
this up on
something?
the internet, they do have one other restaurant. It's called the Double Egg Cafe. It's located in Coppell, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, I believe. So if you
Double eggs?
Double Egg. So let me.
Cafe.
It's double-egg.cafe.
Ooh,
So.
okay.
That is, they want to introduce a similar concept here. He has family that is from Clinton, and they've been the ones who've been looking at the building. So this lease will happen, and then there's going to be some extensive work that has to be done to the old Arby's building to get it into shape for this restaurant concept.
Okay.
So including replacement of the roof that the city is going to be responsible for.
How much
So,
would that cost?
$44,000.
And were there any written comments, though? No written. Okay, I will close the public hearing. Consider the resolution, please.
Resolution approving a lease agreement for 801 First Avenue. Resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Peterson, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Vogelzang. Any more questions? We got our questions answered. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelzang,
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye. This resolution is approved, all ayes. Number 11, 198 First Street and 106 First Avenue. This change in land use to mixed use will match the rest of the Gather Iowa development properties to the west and north of these lots, which were amended to mixed use in 2021. This is our third consideration. Please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 2025-1014, an ordinance amending the Coralville Communities Plan to reflect certain property generally known as 198 First Street and 106 First Avenue, Coralville, Iowa, to be designated as mixed use in place of corridor commercial use. This ordinance introduced for third and final consideration by Councilmember Vogelzang, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Nguyen. Questions or comments?
Yeah, why is it omit in the first round? Okay.
Because they didn't own the property.
They did not.
They did not own the property. So now we have the persons who own these two properties consented, and or these are the properties that we're acquiring. So
The developer required, not.
we acquire those. Yeah.
acquired.
So yeah, eventually the developer will do their second phase on this project on these parcels. Plus, it'll be used for the movement. It'll be used to move the transmission line. This is where the transmission line will go across the back of these properties next to the railroad tracks.
And I'm guessing that they'll take possession of those two properties when they also take possession of the apartments, correct?
Yeah, and then obviously we have our recycling center that will be part of that second phase, which will include the affordable housing project also. So this is set for affordable housing project and a hotel on these properties.
So this is the property where that 34 unit that we're considering for.
These are the properties to the east of it. We already own the properties to the where that's going to go. Those
Okay.
are already owned by the city, but these are the ones that weren't owned at the time we did the first rezoning.
But this is opportunity for the city to work with developer to have more affordable housing.
Right. Yes, and whatever form that comes in will be coming back to you at a later date.
Thank you.
Dave Johnson, did you have something more to add?
I don't have anything more to add, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, let's see, where are we? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro-tem Goodrich,
Aye.
Nguyen,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelzang.
Ordinance is approved, all ayes. Number 12 is 106 First Avenue and 198 First Street. And this is a public hearing for a change in zoning to match the rest of the Gather Iowa properties. Dave Johnson, will you please give us your community development report?
Thank you, Mayor Pro-tem and City Council members. This rezoning is part of the Gather Iowa project. These two properties are actually the two properties that in the last agenda item were approved to be amended from corridor commercial to mixed use, and this will be in phase 2 or second edition of the Gather Iowa project. All the other properties were amended to mixed use in 2021. That allowed the master planning for this project to move forward. Again, this is a mixed-use development. It consists of retail, restaurant, as well as multifamily uses. The proposed rezoning can be considered consistent with the Coralville Community Plan land use map designation of mixed use, as well as the Gather Iowa Master Development Plan. And the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their October 1st, 2025 meeting. And by a vote of 5-0, the commission recommended to rezone 198 First Street and 106 First Avenue from the I-2 Light Industrial District and C2 Arterial Commercial District to the CPUD2 Commercial Plan Unit Development 2 District. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And did you tell us the planning and zoning report?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
That was that.
It was
Sorry, I was.
5-0.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I will now open the public hearing on rezoning 106 First Avenue and 198 First Street. Is there anyone interested in talking with us about this? Okay, and do we have any questions? Any written? No written. Thank you.
I do have a question,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, don't
Well,
be sorry.
not
That's
sorry,
what we're
but-
here for.
There were at least 5 businesses that owned by, folk from marginalized community before that area got torn down. And there was talk that the city will try to revitalize that area and retain that international flares there. For this mixed use, will some of those businesses be located in this area, in the second phase? Is that where we're gonna talk about that international flair to add that back into that area?
The master development plan that was approved for this site includes 2 multi-tenant commercial buildings on the north side of the property, a 294-unit apartment building in the center of the property. In the middle of that apartment building is a parking ramp, a 5.5-story parking ramp. And then in the southwest corners of this was a 34-unit affordable housing multifamily building. And then tentatively slated in the southeast corner of this is a hotel. That's what was approved in the master development plan.
So no plan for that?
If they're gonna, the commercial tenants are gonna be on the north side near Highway 6.
Okay.
If that's gonna, that would be where any commercial tenants would go. And it's gonna be a multi-tenant building. It's not gonna just be one business occupying the whole building. So
Yes.
that would be where any of the, if we're gonna talk about that, that would be where they would go.
That would be where they go?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just
Mhm.
want to
Yep,
clarify that.
mhm.
Anything else? Okay, I will now close the public hearing and consider the ordinance, please.
Resolution, or ordinance number 2025-1016, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 2020-1009, as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as 106 First Avenue from C2 Arterial Commercial District and 198 First Street from I2 Light Industrial District, both to CPUD2 Commercial Planned Unit Development 2 District. This ordinance introduced for first consideration by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Peterson. Any more questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Quinn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang, Goodrich.
Aye. Ordinance is approved, all ayes. Number 13, Bridgewater Subdivision. This amended PUDA site plan will change the alignment of the private streets and the arrangement and design of townhomes on Lot 61, Bridgewater Subdivision, Part 4. It will also decrease the number of residential units on Lot 61 from 116 to 107. Dave, you have the community development report, please.
I do. Thank you, Mayor Pro-tem and City Council. The master plan for Bridgewater subdivision was first approved in 2018. I can take you down to that original plan. This was the 2018 master development plan, and you'll notice a lot of this has been developed since that time. Really, Lot 61, which is this corner here, this is the only part that has yet to be platted. There's still some vacant lots throughout this subdivision, but in terms of platting and significant development, this is it. So you'll notice in here the alignment of streets as well as the alignment of homes, and in 2018 we had 236 plex buildings in the rear. If we move to the current proposal, it is not significantly different. In the current proposal, we are looking at not a grid pattern. You can see how the private street alignment has changed. These are still multifamily units in the rear. They're 32-unit multifamily units now. So really, in Lot 61, Part 4, we're looking at 8 fewer multifamily units and 1 fewer townhome units in total in this amended plan. Building design for the multifamily units are going to remain the same, and those are similar, actually identical with the building design of those multifamily buildings being built in Ridgeview subdivision on the south side of Spring Grove Circle. This is a drawing of what those buildings will look like. The specific designs on the townhomes are still being more fully developed. However, they are planning on two-story split foyer units, 2-story units on slab, and 2-story units with walkout basements. I can show you those designs. This is the split foyer design. This is a new design being introduced to this. This is going to be a more affordable option. Mm-hmm. It's my understanding from previous designs. Then we also have 2-story units on slab, which are these buildings. And then we also have 2-story units with walkout basements, which is building type A, which is right here. You know, at this time, again, these are being a little more fully developed. Will be presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission, actually at their November meeting, and City Council will be seeing the development-ready site plan as well as final building designs for these at that time. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their October 1st, 2025 meeting, and by a vote of 5-0, the Commission recommended to approve amending the PUDA Master Development Plan for Bridgewater subdivision. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing on the amended PUD site plan for Bridgewater subdivision. Is anyone here to speak to us?
May I see the map again, please?
Sure. The specific lot 61, or do you want to see the whole subdivision?
Sir, if you would go to the microphone, please, then people at home can hear you also. We would like to know your name, too.
Ken Catholic.
Thank you.
So the north-south street on the west side there, at the south end, it has a dead end there. You're gonna put in room for a garbage truck to turn around. I work at Streets and Solid Waste. We have too many dead-end streets. We need it, backing up garbage trucks can cause an accident, and we need room for garbage trucks and snowplows to turn around. Any future developments we got too many dead-end streets already. Thank you.
Would you like to?
Yeah,
answer
I
that?
think that's certainly something that we can discuss, and when we present the development-ready site plan, that's something that we can speak with our streets and streets department further on.
Along with that, my thought was wondering about additional parking also. Has that been discussed? Visitor
Yeah,
parking,
we actually
whatever.
have guest parking built in here.
Good. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, there's 9 unit, there's 9 unit different from the original to the now asking to be amend. And you just explained that it's 8 fewer townhome and 1 fewer
8 fewer multifamily units.
multifamily.
and
That's
1
it, because
fewer
right here it's a
townhome
townhome
unit.
and townhome,
Yep.
okay. How many units is in a multifamily home?
How many units?
Yeah.
It could be anything.
So it could be like a duplex,
Well, so
Like
for
how-
multifamily, no, we
Yeah.
really consider multifamily 4 or more units.
4 more unit,
Mhm.
okay. And did you say that that number will be make up elsewhere on this side of the house? Sorry, I thought you said that we're gonna make up that different somewhere else. Was not? No. So we just lost out 9 unit completely.
Yes, this is 9 less units than the concept approved in 2018.
And is it to make room for parking, to have more square footage?
That I can't explain. That would probably be a better question for the developer.
Would you be able to ask the developer and get back to
The
us?
developer's here.
That'd be great, thank you.
My name is Mike Bales. I'm with Urban Acres and Venture One, which is the developer along with Grandwell on this project. The multifamily buildings at the end are now 32 plexes instead of 36, which was what was in the original concept. We had some 36, well, one 36 plex out on Spring Rose Circle in Coralville. And the problem is there's 32 underground parking spaces. So there's 4 units that don't have an underground parking space in that configuration, and those are very problematic. They were much harder to sell. We ended up having to rent them. And so we then modified the building to a 32-plex, and that's the last 10 buildings we've done out in Spring Rose is the 32-plex. So that's why it went from 36 to 32. And then the other unit was because we wanted to have varied price points in there instead of just one townhouse option. And so looking at the original PUD A, it was all one floor plan, and this is 3 different floor plans, and just because of sizing, setbacks, and whatnot, we just ended up losing 1 unit.
So more choices,
Basically, yes.
okay.
What, I have one question while you're there. Did it change the footprint of the building, or is the square footage of each unit just longer?
The units change inside, and so, for instance, before we had it was 1 bedrooms and then fairly standard 2 bedrooms. When we reconfigured it, we have multiple price points and different options. So we have some 2 bedrooms and dens. We have some with double decks and a few other things. So the footprint stays exactly the same. We were just able to reconfigure it. The other thing, along with the issue with not having underground parking spaces, then we were able to have multiple price points within the building, which also helps.
So this will take care of the parking issue that you have?
Yes. Yeah.
On Spring
Generally,
Rose.
we're not going to come forward and ask for less units. But in this particular case, it actually all works out and makes sense for us.
Thank you.
Would you be able, Mike, would you be able to answer Ken's question about garbage trucks and snow plows? How you've
Yeah, I mean,
done this, yeah.
that's a lot with the engineering. and the streets department. Our engineers and the streets department look at all that stuff, and generally if there's a concern, you know, we work with them to address. In this particular configuration, I don't see a particular problem, but that's something that still could.
But do you
could
drive
be
a garbage
discussed.
truck or a snow plow? That's the question.
I don't, but my partners do.
Okay?
And there's always an issue. You got to put the snow somewhere.
I'd just like to comment, these are private streets.
Yes, I was going to ask that.
The streets department will not be involved in plowing, and it's not designed for us to pick up garbage or recycling, so that would
Okay.
also be private,
So it's not our problem.
essentially. But we still,
We want to make sure
we still consider those, but, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure you understood
Yeah.
it wasn't the city's
That's good.
forces that will be clearing and picking up refuse and such.
But it would be our problem when an accident happened and things like that on that street. And so we just want to make sure that there's enough room to maneuver for a private company to
Yeah.
offer that services for those residents.
A lot of that burden is on the designer working for the developer.
Okay.
So if,
But
you
it's
know,
our responsibility to make sure that the design is working out for the resident who will
ultimately,
live
yes.
there. Yes. And so I'm asking for an answer right now. Is that adequate? Because if it's not, we need
Yes.
to go back and look at it again, because we can't, in the future, using city resources to continue to address issue that may arise.
When
there.
these are set up, it's a private association, and we manage the private association at the time. So we're very cognizant of calls, complaints, concerns from people. And again, we eliminated one unit in the townhouses to make sure that we had enough room. I mean, typically, we're not going to do that unless it presents an issue. And we, you know, while we want to make it as dense as possible, you also want to make sure you have all these extra areas for snow, garbage, those things.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, consider the I didn't close. Anything else? Any written comments? No written. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Please consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the amended PUDA site plan for Bridgewater subdivision. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Quinn, seconded by.
Second by Peterson. Thank you. I think we've had our questions answered. Any other thoughts? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang. Aye. Goodrich,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Moving on to number 14, Ridgeview Part 3, Phases 2 and 3. This PUDB site plan is 4.68 acres and will include 12 four-family residential buildings and 2 family residential buildings for a total of 58 residential units. Dave Johnson, Community Development Department report, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro-tem and City Council members. The Ridgeview Master Development Plan was last amended in 2024. This is 114 acres. The total subdivision, in total, the subdivision will provide 943 residential units. And there's a mix of housing types ranging from single-family detached, two-family attached, townhomes, and multifamily buildings in this 114-acre subdivision. Open spaces and amenities are incorporated throughout the development. Parts 2 and 3 are currently under construction. And what's before you today is Part 3, Phases 2 and 3. This is 4.6 acres and will include 12 four-family residential buildings and 5 two-family residential buildings for a total of 58 units. City Council has been provided the building designs. And I can pull those up here too as well. Ridgeview subdivision, Part 3, Phases 2 and 3, site plan and building designs are consistent with the Ridgeview subdivision master development plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their October 1st, 2025 meeting. By a vote of 5-0, the commission recommended to approve the PUDB site plan for Ridgeview Part 3, Phases 2 and 3.
Thank you, Dave. I will now open the public hearing on the proposed PUDB site plan for Ridgeview Part 3, Phases 2 and 3. Is anyone interested in talking to us about this? Any questions, any written?
No written.
No written. I'll now close the public hearing and consider the resolution, please.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for Ridgeview Part 3, Phases 2 and 3. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Peterson, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Vogelzang. Any questions or thoughts? Roll call, please.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Number 15, Ridgeview Part 3, Phase 2. This final plat is for Lot 83, 1.92 acres, and Lot 80, 3.47 acres. Phase 2 will include 32 residential units, and the roads will be privately owned and maintained. Community Development Report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. City staff has reviewed this final plat and finds it conforms with the approved preliminary plat and the requirements for preparation and filing outlined in City Code. This just plats lots 83 and 80, which are in Phase 2 of the site plan considered in the previous agenda item. And the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their October 1st, 2025 meeting, and by a vote of 5-0, the Commission recommended to approve the final plat for Ridgeview Part 3, Phase 2.
Okay, thank you. We'll consider the resolution, please.
Resolution approving the final plat of Ridgeview Part 3, Phase 2, Coralville, Iowa. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Vogelzang, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Gwen. And questions or thoughts?
I do have just a general question for Dave. So when we, when you receive the type of proposal for plan to build, and when you have meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission, does everyone kind of look at, issue that like Kent just brought up, enough room for maneuver, thing like that, whether it's the street is privately owned or not? Is there a guideline or is there a code within the city that require
Sure, there's
people to do that?
All of that work happens before a development goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission. When we receive a site plan application or a development application, we review it for completeness. If everything is complete and accurate, we place it on a development review team agenda. And our development review team consists of all of our city department managers, including Parks and Recreation, and our city administrator, deputy city administrator, our city engineer, assistant city engineer, myself, our water superintendent, wastewater superintendent, you name it, every superintendent and department managers in these meetings. And then we review these for all of our applicable codes. So something actually doesn't make a Planning and Zoning Commission agenda item unless or until staff is happy that it meets all of our development codes in our city ordinance, as well as any of our master development plans that we have.
So there's a process and procedure
Yes.
that follow
Yes.
through.
And that all happens before something makes it on a Planning and Zoning Commission agenda.
Okay. And any commission or board are open to general public to attend, correct?
Correct. They have the same public hearings that you do for these, and the public is given an opportunity to speak to these developments at that time as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Goodrich.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Vogelzang.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. 16 is building codes adoption. This ordinance is to adopt the 2024 editions of the Code International Residential Codes with some amendments. Ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 2025-1016, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville as previously amended, adopting by reference the 2024 International Building Code, the 2024 International Residential Code, the 2024 International Fire Code, 2024 International Existing Building Code, the 2024 International Fuel Gas Code, the 2024 International Pool and Spa Code, the Iowa Mechanical Code, the Iowa Electrical Code, the Iowa Plumbing Code, and the Iowa Energy Conservation Code, all with amendments thereto. This ordinance introduced for third and final consideration by Mayor Pro-tem Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Wynn. Any questions on this one? It's our third time.
No question, but may I make a comment?
You
Mayor
can
Pro Tem?
comment, sure.
Big thanks to, Charlie Meyer, our building official, and Chief Ori, the fire chief, and every single staff who have poured time and energy and heart into updating our code because it's needed. This is important because this is safety. And so I hope that we continue to look at the international code and adopt it into our city code to ensure that safety is always the first priority when it comes to operating our city.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang, Goodrich.
Aye. Ordinance is approved, all ayes. Number 17, Forevergreen Heights Phase 3, Part 1. This resolution accepts the public improvements of Forevergreen Phase 3, Part 1, and releases the subdivision from lien for those public improvements excluding the sidewalks pursuant to the subdividers agreement. Consider the resolution, please.
Resolution accepting public improvements constructed in Forevergreen Heights, Phase 3, Part 1, Coralville, Iowa. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Peterson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Wynn. And any thoughts or questions on this resolution? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Vogelsang,
Aye.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Resolution's approved, all ayes. Number 18, Coral West Village, Part 1. This resolution accepts the public improvements for Coralville West Village, Part 1, and releases the subdivision from lien for those public improvements excluding the sidewalks pursuant to the subdividers agreement. Please consider the resolution.
Resolution accepting public improvements constructed in Coralville West Village, Part 1, Coralville, Iowa. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Peterson. Any thoughts or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. 19, Ridgeview, Part 2. This resolution accepts the public improvements for Ridgeview, Part 2, and releases the subdivision from lien for those public improvements excluding sidewalks pursuant to the subdividers agreement. Consider the resolution, please, Kevin.
Resolution accepting public improvements constructed in Ridgeview, Part 2, Coralville, Iowa. This resolution introduced for adoption by Councilmember Vogelsang, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Wynn. Thank you. Any thoughts or questions on this resolution? Roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
The resolution is approved, all ayes. And we now need a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented or amended.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as presented, A through S inclusive.
Okay, discussion?
You need a second for that.
Oh, second, please?
Second.
Okay, hi, Wynn. And any discussion? Roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Vogelsang.
Aye.
All in favor, all ayes. Acting City Administrator's Report, Scott Larson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I do have a few items I want to mention tonight. Starting off with the big news that we sent out today that Fifth Street is reopening tomorrow.
People
So-
who live and work on that street, yeah.
So I just want to mention that we've had to move some of the phasing around as we've talked about in previous meetings and press releases and all that. But originally Phase 4 was expected to last until at least Thanksgiving. But because of things we did even this past spring with extending Phase 3 that shortened Phase 4, which then allowed us to add Phase 5A. And so that all worked out, and so now we're able to reopen Fifth Street to through traffic starting tomorrow by noon.
Okay.
And then I'll just add that we still have Phase 5B, which is next spring. Actually, hopefully, if weather cooperates, we would get started in March. And that is just reconstructing Fifth Street across the frontage of the Coralville Public Library. So, looking forward to getting that part done next spring.
Will that close the street then?
It will.
Okay,
It will.
for a
We'll
while.
have one more, hopefully short
Yeah.
duration closure, but we'll still have all the access around City Hall with 7th Street, and fire and police departments will be able to operate normally, except for that closure to the east. So,
Wow.
the other couple of items here, I wanted to mention the Iowa Association for Energy Efficiency is holding their Iowa Energy Summit 2025 at the Hyatt Regency this Wednesday and Thursday. And they are also, this is, I think, the first time that they're hosting this summit here. They typically host it in the Des Moines metro area. And I believe tomorrow they are going on a tour of the Extreme Arena, Green State Fieldhouse, and I believe a facility on the University of Iowa campus. And then I will be giving a brief welcome message and a brief history about the Iowa River Landing to this group Thursday morning.
Great.
So, have to mention that next Monday through Thursday is the Girls State High School Volleyball Tournament at the Extreme Arena and Green State Family Fieldhouse, and there's a good chance we have some local schools, hopefully, that are going to qualify, and we think Wednesday in particular might be a pretty busy traffic day if those things work out. So, but excited to have that event back here. And then the last thing on my list here was just to remind people to vote next Tuesday, or you can actually vote early at the library starting this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for sitting in as acting city administrator. I have a few things. I want to thank the community police officers for setting up the trunk or treat on Sunday in the parking lot over here. It was a great event, first time doing it, and really a fun time for many families and kids. And then trick or treat officially is coming up this Friday, and the hours for Coralville are 5:30 to 8 p.m. And let's see. The other thing is that November 11th will be our next meeting here, but it's also Veterans Day, and offices and the library and recycle center are all closed. And the rec center and transit will be open regular hours, and veterans get to ride free on transit. But there will be a city council member, our meeting next November 11th, and city council members will be here. Yeah. That's what I have. How about you, Kevin, city attorney's report?
I'd just like to say, everybody, good luck who's running for office on November 4th. I do respect people who put their name out there and run for office when you get paid so much to do with the vote. You get paid a lot of money to do all these fun things. So,
You're being
so I do.
facetious.
So anybody, good luck to everybody who's running, and thank you for everybody who's running, because obviously things couldn't get done if people didn't want to participate in the process.
Thank you. Committee and council members report. Rich Vogelsang?
Yeah, I just want to echo too, the trunk and treat event was, I didn't have any grandkids there, but I walked around and it was heartwarming to see all the turnout and all the little kids, and it was a great event. Candidate forum last night, I was very impressed. It was standing room only. So again, thanks for everybody that participated. Another good event. Another event that kind of was fun and loud was the Footlighters production at the Performing Arts Center on, when was that high on?
Wednesday.
the other day. It
Oh,
was
with the children.
loud and tremendous amount of energy in that room. It's amazing. Brown Deer Clubhouse has been repainted and restained. It's got a needed facelift. I also want to do a shout out to and commend Stacy Hausman, Sherry Proud, and Kelly Hayworth, and the entire committee that worked so hard on the local option sales tax campaign. They did a tremendous job. They did countless presentations across the community. Did a great job. So, next year's Home and Garden Show is coming back to Hyatt Regency Convention Center. It's going to be in February, so it's good to have that back in Coralville. And lastly, I just want to do a shout out to to my wife. The United Way's Power of the Purse fundraiser event it culminated last Thursday evening. Anita has been chairing that event for the last 4 years. The amount of money that was raised has been doubled under her watch. It's as of Thursday night, they raised over, I think they hit over $58,000, and there was still some money coming in. So it's all money that flows back into our community, including food pantries. I'm not sure how much they get, but it's a great event. So great community event. So that is all.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Peterson. Pick you first. Yeah.
Mayor Pro-tem had the floor, so she said you go next, so you go next.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, to echo what Kevin said as well, I mean, it's great to see so many people wanting to run. Our last election we only had a couple of people running, so it's great to see as many people that are involved or want to get involved. It's amazing because it is definitely something that is very important to our community. The biggest thing I wanted to talk about is just on Friday night, just watch out. There's going to be a lot of kids walking around the streets. A lot of these kids are wearing dark costumes. I'm glad we end it a little earlier, but the sun goes down pretty early now. So, I live on 12th Avenue. It's a very busy street. And, we don't get very many trick-or-treaters at our house just because of that reason. And there's few houses on our block, to be honest with you. But so this year I've decided not to trick-or-treat at our house just to keep that traffic flow down. And I'm going to be working with a resident that has a haunted house in his yard. I might scare you if you come to the house. But anyway, just watch out for kids. And it always, I guess, as an older person, I start getting worried for kids. I watch them walk up and down that street, and they run across the street and stuff, and it scares me. So just keep an eye out for kids. And the other thing is, I think we have an amazing community and so many people that do great things that raise money for different organizations. Every time I turn around, there's things that I didn't know that was going on that I have learned about and become a part of. Another amazing thing is how many people we have in our community that's willing to drop everything at a moment's notice to help people in our community, as far as people whose houses have got caught on fire and helping them rebuild. That's what I did all last weekend. Unfortunately, I missed a couple things that I wanted to do last weekend, but it was kind of a last-minute thing. But we had about 20 volunteers show up on Saturday and Sunday to help this person move on with life, because that's very devastating. But other than that, I will not be at the next meeting. I'm traveling for work again, so I didn't mention that at the last meeting. Yep. I do like the idea of having something that we could do online, because when I'm traveling for work, I am sitting in a hotel room at night, bored out of my mind. So I would love to get online and be able to join a meeting. So that's a great idea. But, all right, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Wynn.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor Pro-tem. I would like to congratulate our PD, our Coralville PD, and especially the Community Relation Officer, Detweiler, for putting on the first successful trunk or treat right in the parking lot of the aquatic center right here. I feel like that area is underutilized. It is right in the middle of our city, it's the heart of our city, and we need to utilize that space for community gathering more. And the event on Sunday was a stellar example of that. It was amazing to see so many businesses and organizations come together and make that parking lot become alive, with wonderful activity, and there were a family and get that out and, laughing and talking and get to know one another. It was just really good to see, especially right now. With all the divisionists and all of the attack and all of the threat that coming, we need to see more of that. We need to have more space for community gathering. We need to be able to put aside our differences and come together and just be with each other and care for one another. And so if anyone have ideas of how to do more of that, please, share idea. We would love to have more of that. But council cannot do it alone. Staff cannot do it alone. It takes the entire community. We know that November 1st, about 10,000 people in Johnson County that will lose their SNAP benefits. That is next week. It's not far from now. That translates to $2 million in grocery a month that local food pantry will have to supplement somehow. And in my professional life, I am a staff at a food pantry, and we are panicking. We're panicking. And if we do this work day in and day out and we panic, that's bad. That's really, really bad. I have thought about, we might have to have a soup kitchen, not just at the pantry, but it might be in various places in our community just to help people eat. This is what we are facing as a community, and not just our community, and not just Johnson County. This is in the entire state of Iowa. And this is what happened when you elect people who do not put, the people's best interests first and at heart. So November 4th, I urge you to please really do your homework. Do your homework, because there are resources available out there for you to learn more about the candidate who are running, who are asking for your vote. So do your homework. And vote for someone who represent you and represent the community and wanted to build a community that we all want to live in, that each and every one of us can live and thrive and be safe. So please do your homework and please vote. Regarding people who are losing their benefits and who might not get to eat, we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to work together even more. Put aside our differences even more. If you choose to donate, or if you have the means to donate, please donate financially, because the people who do this work know where to get the food, know how to stretch the dollar to get them more food. And listen to their call. Listen to what they ask for and try to meet that need so that they can meet the needs of the community. Because $1 that you spend at the grocery store to get a can of beans, they can get 40 cans of beans for that $1. So make your dollar stretch. if you have time, even if it's just 1 hour a week, donate that time. So many organizations can use your help right now, just to help our neighbors. And, you know, as a city, we're gonna have to talk here and see what we can do in order to bring in, you know, the business community, bring in nonprofit organization, bring in all these disaster relief efforts so that we can help our neighbors. I'm all ear for any idea, so please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. I've always said we're a can-do people here, so. Motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
Second.
Second by Peterson, or moved by Nguyen and second by Peterson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your kind attention.